Okay, this is about reviewing a course proposal if you are on the curriculum committee and you want to look at it before the meeting if you can. Start by logging in, of course. Then you want to go to Approvals. Click My Approvals. Here, select Curriculum Committee Member. Select the discipline that you're going to be looking at. And we'll be looking at some biology courses, and so I've selected that. It's supposed to filter by institution or college, but it doesn't really seem to do that yet. So I would leave that blank. I'm going to do a search. And Laney's courses usually come up at the bottom down here. So here are the 3 biology courses that the committee is going to be looking at. You can open it up. Here you can see the sequence of proposals, which includes a lot of people who, in fact, are at other colleges and are not involved in this proposal, or the sequence of approvals. And finally, when you approve it, you're going to do this, is recommend, approve, and click commit. But before that, before the committee meeting, you can view the course proposal. Okay, you can move down the links here to see the pages of the proposal. Let's see, things that have repeatedly come up as issues in committee. Okay, with the list of changes, you do want to be sure that they've erased the changes that were made on a previous proposal and that the changes listed here relate to the current proposal. Units, hours, usually not a problem. Oh, yeah, if it's duration is 6 weeks, it looks to me as though there really needs to be a justification there. For semester is the default. There's supposed to be a justification if the if this is not anything, if this is not a semester. The course includes a lab, is the justification for this not being 40. 40 is the default. Degree transfer, general education. These are mostly things reviewed by the articulation officer. The lecture lab content, something that we've discussed a fair amount, is just how much detail needs to be here. This proposal is very detailed, so it probably won't be an issue, but sometimes it's very brief, kind of bullet points, and people feel there should be more information and detail. You do want to be sure the percentages add up to 100. That seems to be a recurrent issue. Okay, you want to look at the objectives. The objectives and the outcomes and see if they make sense in terms of each other. The outcomes are more general and overarching. And you should kind of see the outcomes broken down into objectives, and there are more objectives, and they are more detailed. Methods of instruction usually is not an issue. This proposal has no DE addendum, distance education, but if there is, you do want to especially look at the instructor-student content. In this one, it's not here because there's no addendum, but most people don't realize how much student-teacher contact is expected at the state level and for accreditation purposes. This section should show instructor-initiated contact, some way that the instructor is emailing students or checking up on them on an individual level. You should also be sure that they are not offering the course at for a larger number of students distance education than face-to-face. That's not the union policy here. Okay, assignments. Be sure that this is double the units. If there's a lab, it's a little more complicated. Stop and get that formula for you. This is what you should go by. The hours of homework expected should be double the lecture hours, and homework for a lab is at the discretion of the proposal originator. There doesn't have to be homework for a lab. They might want to have it. That's up to them. In the assessment section, you want to check and see that what's described for assessment makes sense in terms of the SLOs, that you can look at the assessment and look at the SLOs and figure out how they're going to work the SLO assessment into their assessment for the course. Okay. If there are requisites, there also needs to be content validation. Doesn't seem to apply in this case. Texts and reading materials, you want to be sure that any text that's more than 5 years old, a justification has been provided for using it. And then there, at the bottom, there are various things for attached files that might be desirable, especially industry information for a career technology course, or if it's a CID course, the CID template should be attached. And think about anything that you would like to see attached to the proposal. And then, as we said, when you're finally ready to approve in the committee meeting, go back to My Approvals, click on the course, and this is where you will recommend approve and click Commit.